Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Today is episode 186. We are going to stay in the small victories today. I wanted to get started on the 4 jars. I have Marie's is the next set of pencils. I have colors picked out, but before I move on to that, I did promise that I would go and do a little finishing touch or two on some of these books in Romantic Country. So I am sitting up so that I can have a better look at both of the projects we're going to work on today, because they aren't just straightforward coloring for me. So we are opening up to this page and we're going to tilt the camera and then we're going to zoom in. I also see that I need to focus. So let's zoom into the bookshelves and then switch to manual focus, which seems to work the best. All right. So for finishing the books, I have finished a couple of them. We've got some light tones that I will be using in lieu of a white or a blender pencil. I don't know if I even have a blending pencil here. I had class earlier this week, so the blending pencils are over yonder. So I have actually worked on this blue, where I went ahead and used small circles and softened the colors and softened the light source in the center. I see a little piece of this white. On the bottom here, I actually took some gray. So after sketching in all of these with you, what I will be doing is going through each book one by one. I will determine if it's dark enough or if it needs more color. And then I have a kind of a warm sandy tone. I think this is camel, no, beige. Then I have yellowish gray for the gray books, and I have Bavarian cream. So these are all just a variety of soft colors. And then right sitting next to me, I do have the full color palette of pencils, just the bookcase. I had built up the bookcase pencils separate from the colors that I used to do the wood and the stove, the kitties, the chair. All of those are on a different Lazy Susan. So I am going to work on, I hope you can see this one that I'm, no, I guess you can't. So I am going to work on this sideways blue book. I think that it can use a little more color before I blend it. The purpose for doing the exercise with you where I blocked in was simply for the color balance and to have the ability to erase anything if I decide to change a color. And I think 1 or 2 I did do a color change on, but not many. And then, like, to see this one I have left white. I will leave, I think I've left, the top row is still needing to be worked on, and then I left a fat white one, and even these 2 aren't colored yet. So I'm kind of saving those for the very end when I might want to do a little color balancing. So there I have, and I'm using heavy pressure. Let's do one with the cream tone. I could work on these 2 big volume 1s and 2s. I want them to stay lighter colored. And I'm allowing the creamy color to take over most of what I had left white, just leaving a little bit of white. So those two are done. You can see this reddish orange one also. I have actually added some gold lines. It's actually a goldenrod, I think, is the color that I used there. So I'm just filling in, stretching out, and removing the lines. This isn't a metal, so it's supposed to be leather bound. So to achieve that leathery look, I don't mind this bright from the light source, but I want it to be smooth. So that is the exercise. Let's do a couple more, and then we will move on to our new book, our new coloring image, which is a new page. Thank you all for joining me today. Here, let's use the book, do the book right next to it. And this is the yellowish gray. So thank you all for joining me whenever you are finding time. It's a crash of thunder, I tell you. There was no thunder. It was sunny. The minute I start filming, I hear thunder. Yes, never fails. So I've got this shadow on this book here on the one side, and I'm okay with that. I don't want all of my shadows and lights to be identical. So this book maybe is behind this reddish orange book. And then we've got this light blue one right next to it that also has shadow as if it's tucked back a little further as well. So I'm going to add a little bit more blue along here. So this is why I plan to go away and work on the rest of these, because I am not a fast colorer. I do kind of enjoy a little bit of blue. See that little bit of blue there? I'm going to see if I can soften that and make it go away and just melt into the rest of the image. I still want some shine. The shine being so I'm using, this is the yellowish gray again. Oh, nope, we'll use the blue. My blue is pastel blue. Yeah, so I can just sit here one night on my own time and go through and balance all of the books out together. Do some more depth, play more, see what these different lines that are the gilded, gold stamped part of the book. And so that is what I plan to do. I've done that green one, this blue one, I think I did this one as well, this brown, that blue. So I'm just kind of slowly gonna work through the ones that I look at and I'm like, yep, that's the color I want it. I'm ready to commit it. Those are the ones that I will blend out, and then eventually I will get them all blended out and the bookcase will be good to go. So we will be working with Romantic Country one day this weekend because, as I said, I've got kind of a time frame and I want to be able to finish it before going on vacation. All right, back to Small Victories we go. Get that tilted. Moving the Arrtx pencils far away from me. The jars I showed you that I have done, I think are the only jars I have done, not just in this book, but I think ever. I don't know that I've done glass. So on this page, I get to zoom in even further. I did these two glass jars, and I did a not very good job on the snow globe, but it is what it is. And so I will eventually, that is silver on the top of the church or whatever it is that we are looking at. So we get to color this jar. And actually that is a large image, isn't it? So I actually am going to tilt you this way, and I'm going to move you out the wrong way. So I've got some colors picked out. Oh, I can move it a little. That looks pretty clear. Again, our colors are the Marie's 168. I'm going to focus. Okay, we are ready to get started. I have a light blue. These don't have names, they just have numbers. Number 59. And I have some background to do. So I do have a very soft blue background. I will be adding a little more color to it. And this is going to help with the glass appearance. And I don't know if I'm going to do all of them the same. Maybe color tones the same. I will decide that tomorrow. The next set over here to the right is going to be the Color 120 black barrels that come in the tube. So it's not the same color names and numbers as the red tin deer, which is black barrel with a really thick core. And it's not the same as the elephant tin. It's a gray tin. And those are the exact same color names and numbers as the red tin, only they are a full color barrel. And they have a much smaller core. And I actually I find that the smaller core pencils are easier to do detail work with. The Color, as a rule, is a very soft pencil. And so I like using both the ones I'm going to use today, or tomorrow, the 120, that's a different name and number, because those are like a 3.3 millimeter. Same with the full color barrel 180 set. Okay, so we're just softly putting in some blue, and I even want some blue up in here because this part of the jar is glass. My coloring is going to be pretty straightforward and simple with the house. I am about halfway through swatching the Harmonious. I hope you guys enjoyed that yesterday. It was really fun. It's not often for me, since I started my journey pretty late in the game. I'm playing catch up, and the sets that I've been buying have been out for a long time. So this was an opportunity to be able to get my hands on something new that doesn't have like a ton of videos already out there about it. So I could learn. So I actually went to lay in bed. I have had a super busy week doing selling of my retired products, which, as I said, I do every summer. And it has meant like 2 nights this week I was up until 2 a.m. processing. Now I'm 3 hours ahead of everybody, so I'm just moving to a darker blue. This is 58. I think that one was 59. So yeah, the scrambling of orders and invoicing and answering questions. And then once they pay, I have to package, of course. So it has been quite the week. And we are doing some things to prepare for our trip. Some paperwork things that we need to do when we get back there, that we have to get the papers all finished here and then get everything. We only have 2 weeks there to get everything done. So it's not like it's going to be a relaxing type of a trip. It will be quite frantic getting a lot of things taken care of. So I got a nice layer of the softest blue, and now I am going in and I am adding some shadow blue in different areas on the outside and inside of the glass. I have a couple of techniques I am going to be using for making this glass look like glass. And one of the things that I do really like to do is block in a couple of places. And in this case, I've got my eraser right here. I do have a little bit of limitation of where my white line is on this side, because we've got this hanging. It looks like a fishing pole, but it's hanging a light. So I need the light blue again. I don't mind there being light blue all the way up to it, but not the dark. So there's that. And then I may put a line right here. And I may or may not feel this, but I will be putting gel pen over the top. And here. We'll see what that all ends up looking like. I have a few different gel pens. It seems like every time I do a gel pen beyond just basic dots, I like a different one. So this time I started with the Uniball Signo, because in the past I have enjoyed using that one. But this time the Uniball Signo didn't really feel right on my, now that's on my scratch paper, which is just copy paper. And then I wasn't really digging the jelly roll either. So I brought out the Arrtx acrylic pens. So we're just adding some shadows behind the house here. I'm doing sort of a cartoony, not realism looking scene. I guess a whimsical look. I do have one blue darker than this blue. Have to leave the area around the lantern for the glow. I do have one darker blue than this. These pencils have a very nice laydown. They don't tend to streak or go on to dark. I do get to one of the streakier pencils for me, just the way I use them, is the SparklePop, and the last jar on this page is going to be done with that, so that will be challenging. I've looked ahead. I'd love to get the fish page, which is to the right of this page, finished, and that gets to be Pablo's, which is very convenient. I am working on a coloring project right now for the Pablo's, and then when I have this one done, I should be ready to do my detailed walkthrough, which would be great if I could get that done before we leave. All right, so we've got some nice blues. I've got a darker blue, and that one is going to be number 57. So it's 57, 58, and 59. And I believe I used the original hard trays. They stack, and I believe all three of these were together. I know that lots of people actually put their darker color first, and I did a base of the lightest blue. I mostly use pencil. I do own Copics. That could be the base, and maybe someday I use them for blue backgrounds, but haven't used them for a base. I'm very much pencil oriented. If I could do everything with pencils and not use anything else, I would. I just really enjoy pencils. I did come from a Copic coloring world for card making, so I have many years of using markers, which is why I'm so in love with pencils now. They have some wonderful behaviors and techniques that I just really like right now. Okay, so we've got our jar. There are some white highlights that, like, I'm going softly. I know there's white around here, and you will see that the blue isn't really adhering to where I put the heavier bit of white. Same with over here. There, so we've got the darkest. I could go in and soften some of the lines up, but I'm going to move on now. I have the aqua colors. I have 3 aqua colors. You'll see that I'm only doing 3 because it's very small. Light, medium, dark is 60, 62, and 65. And I get all quiet when I am focused. Going to the middle color. I am very warm. I moved away from my fan. And I'm warm because the fan battery has died. So I may have to go get a new battery. I am not sitting up in the area where my recliner is, so I am down in our screen room that is not air conditioned. And it tells me, oh, it's only 76 degrees. That's not too warm. I shouldn't be too warm yet. Normally that is my happy place, temperature-wise. I am going to darken up a little bit more. Okay, going back to the 62, which is the middle color. Light pressure here, little circles. And then now I'm softening, getting ready for the lightest color. These have a small core. They're a maybe a 3.3 millimeter core. The barrel size feels polychromos-esque because it's glossy, and it feels very much like Arrtx. Okay, I think I am ready . So I'm using medium pressure now, as I am using this to burnish the middle color. I have a cute plan for these bubbles. Gonna set those aside. We're now going with the seaweed, which should be very quick. I do not think I need 3, but I did grab 3. 71, 70, and 69. So yes, because of having many long nights this week, I went to bed after I got my video live and relaxed and swatched, but I am not done yet. But I will probably be getting it finished tonight. Oh, I got my colors mixed up. This is supposed to be the middle color. So we'll just go up a little farther. Then we'll go to the dark, which is 70. All right, so that is the seaweed kelp. We've got some dark gray, a dark gray, number 90, number 90. And the stilts are going to be white with some gray. House color. Definitely don't need 4, but I have 4, and the house is going to be purple. 38, 155, 39, and 157. So this is the darkest purple. Really, this is 39. I am probably going to skip the next lighter color and just go straight to the lightest one. Lightest color, 38. Medium pressure now. Going to fill in the tooth. I do want to come back with this darkest. think I used the 150, no, 39. Back to 39, which is the middle color. It's just a teeny little bungalow on stilts. Lightest color again here. All right, purple's done. The roof, sort of terracotta tile, 118, 119, and 117. And that could use a little sharpening. I do have one darker, but I don't think I'm going to use it. It was too dark. One 19. Lightest color, 118. Okay. We have some highlights, or I should say glowy light, which is a yellow. Number 4. See this number 4? There are so many sets that number 4 is yellow, specifically canary yellow. I believe number 4 is the yellow for the colors. Ironically, even the one color that made me think that the tube black barrels were the same has number 4. But from there, it just goes, I couldn't find any other matches. All right, so we've got a little tiny bit of brown and a little bit of gold. So let's do this. So I have a light, medium, and a dark. That's kind of what they look like. And I'll give you the numbers here. Light to dark is 68, 168, 115, 156. And what I am doing with this is the door. And then I'm also making this be the gold, a gold lantern color. So this is the middle tone. And then the light tone. All right, the last little bit, which I left uncolored on my sample, is going to be the chimney here. All right, so there's our colored scene. Now we are going to grab what I hope is going to be a good this one's juicy, maybe too juicy. So we're going to be adding, yeah, that's pretty darn juicy, all right. Oh, I see. Now you guys get to see me try to clean that up. This was borderline too juicy. And I think I can leave that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue with that particular one. So I do have this one, I think is empty. So I've simply picked up some of the overflow onto the tip. I've basically taken the one that's blobby and put another want that to have the line there. All right, so then our next fun thing to do is okay, so those are my approximate attempts for some glass. Reflections. Still picking up. This is essentially a dry acrylic marker pen that I'm just using the nib. All right, so the last little thing I want to do here, I'm going to tilt it now. I am going to take and do a little bit of color. Along the bottom. I already, if you noticed, you might not have caught that I actually was doing some color like that. And then the last little interesting bit, I want to make sure these whites stand out, so I'm adding this is the lightest blue, so it's not even one of the dark ones. Soften that up a little bit there. Okay, then the last thing for me to attempt. So that's style number 1, and sadly that is going to be so thick it's probably going to indent like that one, which is too bad. Let's see, is it too late? I'm going to leave it because I think it might be too late. But I have one last fun marker to add to this. Boy, and we're at 47 minutes. This is perfect. Okay, so this is the Pentel. It is SparklePop. This is the dual metallic brush version of the SparklePop, and it is a silver one. And it is a brush. You do prime it with push, and you can see when you push it some more of the paint gets added to it. And I want to see, and we'll see if I have to shift my angle. I don't want to be covering the black. I have the thinner SparklePop, but I've never used these brush nib ones, and I thought it would be a fun challenge. So there's the top. I'm just going to keep doing these vertical lines, just like that, to be consistent with the ribbed look. Now I'm going to get tricky and try to put there we go. So there is my jar number 1 finished. I did it all, plus showed you finishing of the books. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you. Do all of the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing, and tomorrow, which is Saturday, we may not do jar number 2. I might have to do, I want to be sure I finish up our big. So we're probably going to toss in a day of big, and it's possible on Sunday. I have things to do both Saturday and Sunday away from the home. So depending on how long Sunday goes, I might sneak in jar number 2. So that's the plan, and I will see you then.